You don't remember this miracle, but it happened to you. You were born into chaos. Those first days were a blur.
Men on the moon and men spinning around the earth. There's no attention paid to earthly law and order no more. Oh, dear land, I fought for thee and
But then, by the power of your mind, you resolve that chaos into a universe. A small universe at first, but a supreme act of learning.
Justice League Memory Tape 33R. Formation of the Legion of Doom.
Our headquarters will be in the swamp, hidden beneath its murky water.
Marshall Film and Shoe operations 14 miles east of New Orleans. Rehabilitation and modification of the $50 million facility with almost 43 acres of usable area.
Now all we have to do is construct an impenetrable fortress equipped with the most deadly devices in the universe.
In the 60s, that's when Von Braun and his team, the old Saturn V program, came along from the Marshall Space Flight Center. But we also
flew into these areas by helicopter. We dropped the cocaine by parachute in a totally inaccessible, swampy area in Louisiana.
April 12th, Columbia is launched. American technology at work, and ATI graduates are part of it. Welders building a proud future, working wherever metals are joined in energy production, construction, defense. Today, there's no limit to the job opportunities available to a skilled
at the feat of moving the huge spacecraft.
I think it's going to be really interesting seeing them load that on that barge.
Colonel Lamar was shot down over North Vietnam in May of 1966, so this will be an entirely new experience.
Do you believe men went to the moon, Jim?
Yes, I believe it. I sure do.
We're starting phase 5 right here where we're standing. All of this can be your master bedroom suite. That can be your view. Interested?
The thing about Michoud, it really started back in the 1940s time frame. A lot of military-type applications.
It's not the sort of thing one goes around advertising on a billboard or on the side of a bus.
The United States government actually did carry out on our citizens experiments involving radiation.
This invisible energy is harmful to us.
A crude remark was made by Dr. Gottlieb about a certain possible leak over New Orleans East involving a large group of retarded children who are being given massive doses of radiation.
Gottlieb persuaded the CIA to spend $240,000 to buy the world's entire supply of LSD.
Experiments were carried out on precisely those citizens who count most on the government.
If I may offer a word of advice, Doc, you'll have to watch this one. A right brutal bastard he has been, and will be again, in spite of all his sucking up to the prison chaplain and reading the Bible.
Oh, I think we can manage things. Charlie, will you show the young man to his room now?
Room 101.
Then, by the power of your mind, you resolve that chaos into a universe. A small universe at first, but a supreme act of learning. From then on, you became a learning machine, acquiring knowledge at a rate that you would never match again.
Are you not the poor victim of this horrible new technique?
I overheard conversations about a part of the agency called ORD, which I found out was Office of Research and Development. It was run by Dr. Green, Dr. Stephen Aldrich, Martin Orne, and Morris Allen.
Kid, don't forget it. Etch it in your brain. Those assholes over there. Ordinary fucking people. I hate them.
It was a bit from the glorious Ninth by Ludwig van.
Good. Now bring the lunatics from the Institute. I want to see how the drug in the beer is affecting them.
They're responding to the sounds. Watch this.
Try the wine.
Thank you, sir. Cheers.
The 1,500 pounds of cocaine was loaded onto the plane, and Seal headed north, supposedly destined for a secret landing strip in Louisiana.
What you got in the trunk?
Do I qualify as a controlled drain? That material that I just ate is
radiation. Yes, indeed. You hear the most outrageous lies about it. Half-baked gogglebox do-good is telling everybody it's bad for you. Pernicious nonsense. Everybody could stand 100 chest X-rays a year.
Is anything the matter?
Now you're feeling helpless, like a leaf in the wind.
Prepare for any eventuality. But wisdom demands, too, that we take time to understand this force.
This boy does look a mess, doesn't he?
In the fields of medicine and biochemistry, isotopes are performing near miracles of diagnosis and discovery. With radioactive sodium, doctors are solving more of the seeming mysteries of heart disease and circulatory disturbances. Radioactive phosphorus has been used to locate tumors in the brain and greatly simplify operations for their removal. Iodine-131 finds one of many uses in revealing conditions of the thyroid, and there are many more.
pour it out in the hand, and that's radioactive contamination.
Over New Orleans East, involving a large group of retarded children who are being given massive doses of radiation.
Besides, we've done it before.
When?
In '76. Right down there.
Okay, basically it's the same system with a new addition. Specific tones are still linked to motivation, but now we've added color distinction. So object A will attack object B, or black will attack white, or vice versa. I'm gonna try the whole thing out tomorrow.
Same concentration of formula. That means we are right on schedule. Just one more test. And then we are ready for the world. Light them up.
Of targeting defendants before evidence of a crime is established.
Boys have gotten worried, so I took it upon myself to... Jesus, Steve, you look like shit. Aren't you feeling any better?
Oh, I'm still weak, Mr. Teague, you know.
I overheard conversations about a part of the agency called ORD, which I found out was Office of Research and Development. It was run by Dr. Green, Dr. Stephen Aldrich, Martin Orne, and Morris Allen. Once a crude remark was made by Dr. Gottlieb about a certain possible leak over New Orleans East involving a large group of retarded children who are being given massive doses of radiation.
They've been doing something to you against your will.
This particular camera.
Your kind is extinct. The alien is. Do you understand what you're about?
You want freedom, huh? I'll give you fucking freedom.
A warrior would rather be defeated and die than act against his nature.
How shall the new environment be programmed? It all happened so slowly that most men failed to realize that anything had happened at all.
Between the years of 1957 and 1984, I became a pawn in a government scheme whose ultimate goal was mind control and to create the perfect spy, all through the use of chemicals, radiation, drugs, hypnosis, electric shock, isolation in tubs of water, sleep deprivation, brainwashing, verbal, physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Dr. L. Wilson Green, who claimed to have received $50 million from the Edgewood Chemical and Radiology Laboratory as part of the TSD, or Technical Science Division of the CIA, once described to Dr. Charles Brown that, quote, children were used as subjects because they were more fun to work with and cheaper, too. They needed lower profile subjects than soldiers or government people. Dr. John Gittinger tested me, Dr. Cameron gave me the shocks, and Dr. Green the x-rays. Then I was told by Sid Gottlieb that, quote, I was right for the big A, or meaning artichoke. By the time I left to go home, just like every time from then on, I would remember only whatever explanations Dr. Robert G. Heath at Tulane Medical University gave me for the odd bruises, needle marks, burns on my head, fingers, and even the genital soreness. I had no reason to believe otherwise.
Never mind them. People are of no value. We could make more sometime.
Bro, it's not an ancient tribal burial ground, it's just people.
Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, Dr. James Hamilton. In 1958, I was to be tested, they told me, by some important doctors from the society, or the Human Ecology Society. And I was instructed to cooperate.
So you have to work on step one first.
Not to look at
How do you destroy the mind of a person? Well, you can use all kinds of drugs, you can use electroshock, you can use extremes of temperature and noise and all kinds of tortures. And Gottlieb relentlessly tried all of them. They started torturing people or experimenting on people.
The report also demonstrates that these and other experiments were carried out on precisely those citizens who count most on the government for its help, the destitute and the gravely ill. But the dispossessed were not alone. Members of the military, precisely those on whom we and our government count most, they were also test subjects. Informed consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld.
If your unit was sent into actual atomic combat, how well do you think you'd do? Okay. Do you feel the experts know enough about these weapons to use and test them safely? Do you feel the experts know enough about these weapons to use and test them safely?
Gottlieb began with the idea that controlling people's minds is a two-part project. First, you have to find a way to blast away the mind that's in there.
Because I think it must be engraved on our national memory. Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. The goal was to understand the effects of radiation exposure on the human body.
If your unit was sent into actual atomic combat, how well do you think you'd do?
While most of the tests were ethical by any standards, some were unethical, not only by today's standards, but by the standards of the time in which they were conducted.
First of all, you get a truth serum. You make someone tell the truth. Then you get an amnesiac. You make people forget what they've done so you can send them out to commit crime.
A clemency hearing was held for one of the 3 men who were convicted for killing Barry Seal. He was given a life sentence, but now he might get out of prison.
My first initial reaction was shock, and then anger, and then sadness. And I broke down and began to cry.
One experienced scientist experiment.
He wrote to his boss at the CIA, Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, and summed up his career by saying, "It was fun, fun, fun. Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, and cheat, steal, deceive, rape, and pillage with the sanction and blessing of the All-Highest?" Has mind control been achieved?
Let us take another delusion of yours.
Palantiri are spherical stones that help powerful users see what is going on in other parts of Middle-earth and communicate with each other.
Information. You won't get it. By hook or by crook, we will.
It controls all records.
The new number 2.
The human memory. The party controls all human memories. How can you control the memory? You haven't controlled mine. On the contrary, you haven't controlled it. That is why you're here.
What's wrong? Take 4 red capsules. In 10 minutes, take 2 more. Help is on the way. What's wrong?
I want you to take a visual record of this. We found it in the patching cells. We killed it.
Werner von Braun, who is at present the chief of the Guided Missile Division of the Army's Rocket Center at Redstone Arsenal. He was also overall director of the development of the original V-2 rocket.
Now here's a model I designed for a 4-stage orbital rocket ship.
Department of Defense would sell missiles to the CIA. The CIA then sold those missiles to Richard Secord, who would sell them to Ghorbanifar, who sold them to Iran.
Loading an aircraft with illegal narcotics bound for the United States.
The Reagan administration knew about it the whole time. So while thousands of people were being thrown into jail for drugs, our own allies were bringing tons of stuff into the country while the government turned a blind eye.
No, there seems to be no crime.
Freedom fighters? I didn't say that. You, 57093 Baker, are guilty of thought crime. We all are. Because we all know.
IAC. What is that? What do they call it? Front groups? Is that? No. It's as real as IBM. You run the company, but after hours you work for us.
Yeah.
Takes pictures. We say it collects intelligence.
Okay, Don. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Right. Talk to you later. I gotta go and give it a lesson.
Sort of a big secret to walk from the street into that.
1,500 pounds of cocaine was loaded onto the plane, and Seal headed north.
And it was a very busy place. It just wasn't people coming in and people going out. People were doing a lot of business there. Great business all the time.
It was named the Shushan Airport because Abe Shushan was the head executive director of the Orleans Levee District.
The 1,500 pounds of cocaine was loaded onto the plane, and Seal headed north, supposedly destined for a secret landing strip in Louisiana.
And that's over $200 billion every 2 weeks that runs through this particular facility.
We'll have a storm now.
So we had Katrina back in the 2005 timeframe, and we had a team, we call it the Ride-Out Team. That Ride-Out Team consists of 38 individuals. These are men and women who spent their time here safe in this facility during the actual storm. You had to manually go set the actual pump, so how much water that it was going to be pumping out at a time. These individuals, they did one more last final check just to make sure they had it properly set. If they would have over-adjusted or under-adjusted, that means we could have lost this entire facility, which means it could have been the end of the shuttle. They had it properly set. If they would have over-adjusted or under-adjusted, that means we could have lost this entire facility, which means it could have been the end of the shuttle program. We had wind damage, they had caused damage to the roof lines, they were repairing roofs, they were trying to make sure that the water that did get into some of the buildings, they were drying those particular spaces up, and we were able to honor those individuals back in the fall. And without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I take my hat off to those men and women that support this facility. So a lot of times you think about New Orleans being a great place for great jazz or great food or the French Quarter. In order to get to space, we must come to New Orleans.
Thank you for being conscientious. A visual record is being taken and filed with the Department of Biological Flow. You have...
You are in my hands. I am here to protect you. You have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go.
For we are like the child in the crib, its eyes open, resolving its first mystery. Oh, there it is, the great adventure of the universe, which it took man more than 6,000 years simply to define. And at last we are ready to go there, ready for the next great leap in learning that the human race makes to meet the challenges of the moment.
TV has been broadcasting from its studios just west of City Park at 916 Navarre Avenue on facilities made available to it through the cooperation of the governing authority, Delgado Junior College. The WIS visual transmitter has been operating on an assigned frequency of 205.25 megahertz at an effective radiated power of 126,000 watts. Our oral transmitter has been operating on an assigned frequency of 209.75 megahertz at an effective radiated power of 19,100 watts. We are linked to our transmitter, which is located near Chalmette off Paris Road, by a microwave station KLB 84, power 1.5 watts, frequency 6912.5 megahertz. WIS is licensed to the Greater New Orleans Educational Television Foundation by authority of the Federal Communications Commission, and is an independent and non-profit organization serving the people of Southeast Louisiana. We now leave the air wishing all our viewers a good night and a better tomorrow.